Hey YouTubers, Grimmy here, and today we're taking a look at the recreation of one of my very first Transformers, and now we're looking at Generation Scoop with Caliburst and Hole Punch. Now, a little backstory with this guy. When I was about 4 years old, in an Easter basket, I got a nice little gift, one of my first Transformers. And it just so happened to be none other than Scoop. As you can see, he's got a little bit of wear and tear on him, but he's still nice. So, imagine my surprise when Hasbro and Takara decided to release Scoop into the Generations line. And it's a very nice surprise. I didn't know how much I wanted this guy until he came out. So, it's definitely one of my favorites of the generation so far. On nostalgia alone. But let's see if he lives up to that nostalgia, shall we? I guess the first thing we'll get out of the way is the included comic, which is a common trend for the 2014 Transformers line. Scoop's comic is actually the second part of Dark Cybertron, and he gets a really nice cover art and a whole 3 pages of actual comic exposure. So, yeah, and a jail cell. His target masters are not shown, which is a sad thing. I mean, yeah, the comic's a nice read and all, but they were going to, I really wish they would have done the actual Scoop story. I mean, at this rate, the BotCon Invasion comic would have been a better pack-in. At least he's in it, and so are his target masters. Much like his G1 self, Scoop is a payloader in vehicle mode, which pretty much brings thoughts of a certain Constructicon we all know very well. But in any case, it's a very nice job of capturing his vehicle mode, and it does the character justice, even though it does have one big flaw that's kind of hard to ignore. The front is a little bit on the hollow side, with this big gap right here. I wish they would have found a better way to actually do the front of the payloader. I mean, other than that, there aren't any major flaws. I would have liked the yellow Scoop, but that's not a big deal. But speaking of the yellow shovel, let's bring in the G1 and do a little comparison. And as you can see, they do look pretty close to each other, with the Generations version being a bulkier, shorter version. But it definitely has its own charm. As you can see, while the G1 is a little taller, the Generations is bulkier and a little bit thicker. So I think it's a pretty good job of updating Scoop. But enough of the vehicle mode. Let's get into robot mode and see how that looks. Okay, Scoop's robot mode is far more impressive than his vehicle mode. It's a nice figure standing about 5 inches tall, and it has nice proportions, very cool looking. It's got about 20 to 22 points of articulation depending on how you look at it, with a ball-jointed head, swivel, like shoulder joints, up and down, bicep swivel, elbow joints. The hands only go in and out, but they still work. One thing though, you gotta hold the chest in place to keep the transformation joint from moving, but that's okay, it works alright. He's got a waist joint, forward, backwards, in and out on the thighs, or the hips, thigh swivel, a nice double jointed knee, and a little in and out on the toe. So all in all, he has a real nice range of motion to him. The color scheme works pretty well. Again, I'll nitpick about the head and the shovel not being colored the same one as the G1. But other than that, he looks really nice. And when you put him next to the G1 figure, he's actually a little bit taller, a little brighter, and a lot more articulated and better, well, proportioned. Although, it would have been nice to see this head on this guy. So, and that's how I'm only going to say that once. But, yeah, I do like it. I really do like the new Scoop. And I'm glad to have him in my collection. So why don't we take a look at his two partners. Yeah, Scoop's only accessories are his two Target Master partners, Calibers, aka Tracer, and Hole Punch. Now they're very nice looking figures, well proportioned, and actually have articulation in the arms, which is a nice improvement over their G1 selves, who had no articulation whatsoever. And their transformations are actually pretty simple. Just flip over the head, put the arms together, and just flip the handle down, and boom, you got a gun. Yeah, one sec, I'll just transform Hole Punch here, and we'll demonstrate how easily they fit in Scoop's hands. Now you might want to watch out for the way the handle part goes. It's only held in by a couple small peg, like small little, like a small little clip, and it can come undone very easily, and it's kind of difficult to get back in place once it's out. But they actually peg in pretty nice, and he holds them fairly well. Let's get him. Yeah, but yeah, he can hold them very nicely, and they work out pretty well. Now the guns can also combine into a super weapon just by simply pegging into a port on the back. Each gun has its own little peg on the front and port on the back, and they just slide together. And you get the choice of whether you want Tracer on the bottom or Hole Punch on the bottom. I like the Hole Punch look better because it looks like three guns, and it goes better like this in my opinion. But again, they fit in Scoop's hands very well, so it works out pretty nicely. Just get these guys back in, and we'll take a look at them next to their G1 selves. And here's G1 Hole Punch and G1 Tracer. And I'm sorry if I got these guys mixed up. It's kind of hard to tell who's who with these little ones. But as you can see, the molds are pretty much almost directly taken from the G1 versions, with some improvements on the arms. The stances seem more natural, and The new figures actually have articulation, while these guys were just bricks with hinging gun barrels. So I think it's definitely an improvement. Now, I know I'm being a little biased when I'm calling Scoop one of my favorites out of the 2014 Generations line. But, you know, I got my right to. I mean, this is a recreation of one of my first figures, so there's definitely a nostalgia factor in this one. But still, he's a good figure. Might not be the best of the 2014 line, but he's definitely one of the top ones for me. I would highly recommend him. If you don't know the character very well, he might not speak to you as much as he does me, but he's a definite solid Autobot to have. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll talk to you later. Take care, so long, and have fun.